Yes, graduates, welcome to Hard Talk Podcast with HTK. Fasten your seatbelts. Hey, users and subscribers, welcome back to another episode of Hard Talk with HTK. Hurricane Melissa has done a big one where Jamaica is concerned. We have been experiencing such devastation. I have never seen anything like this in all my 40 odd years of life. I've not seen it. You understand? And Gilbert did bad, but not so. It was just not as bad. When category 5 is a different cup of tea. When them say category 5, this was a beast. It was a monster. But at the end of the day, we have to give God thanks that it was not an island-wide catastrophe. However, this does not minimize the amount of needs that are currently on the ground in the areas that were most affected. If we take a look at some of the situations that took place during and after the storm, you will know exactly what me I talk about. Say, people could not have fathomed, could not have imagined what was going to take place. Remember, I did a whole life about this. And people may have been wondering why it is that HDK was warning people so much. Because I know that our people, we tend not to take things very seriously. We tend to joke things off, take a light-hearted approach. It is a part of our resilience and our survival tactics, but it's also contributory to folly, sometimes in the face of danger that is unknown. So I made it a point of duty to come out here to show people what a category 5 hurricane can do to an environment, even when it's made out of bricks. I am telling you that if you are alive, that is the best gift that you can have. Because where there's life, there is hope, and the ability to rebuild is there. But something about me. And I did make a post about it on my Facebook this morning. And interestingly, I got mixed responses because I am listening to the voices on the ground. And an essential part of the government strategy of intervention is to pay attention to the needs and the desires of the people. Because people will need water, housing, food, clothing, medical care. But people will desire that they are first. Now, it's how much the government caters to that desire that can ruin the optics about how much they are really and truly working behind the scene to ensure that everybody else is catered for. Now, I do not know if there is anything politically behind this, and I do not want to point any fingers to PNP or JLP because I myself am not political. I'm not in politics, right? I may discuss politics, but I am not into politics. I don't have any particular side. I am pro-Jamaica. And anything that works for Jamaican people, I'm there for it. You understand? So don't bash me in terms of not picking a side. I am just looking at what things look like. Now, we know that the hurricane, it destroyed St. Elizabeth, particularly Black River. That was the point of entry where the eye wall of the hurricane first appeared. And in that eye wall, the destruction was fierce and it was devastating. Now, neighboring places like Westmoreland also received a heavy impact of Hurricane Melissa. So too Hanover. Clarendon has experienced some harsh times as well. We're having people who are coming on social media and saying that to date, post Melissa, they have received absolutely no help. There's been no water, no food parcels arriving, nothing. And I'm going to discuss with you what other people have been saying, and where I think our government could improve.
No, brother, man. Melissa, are you not reach here yet, B?
If I move the drum right here, so you know?
What do you mean if I move this? Actually, it's full of water, dog, and it can shift it the same way. Boom, dog. Open my tall gate. Look there, front yard flood out.
First of all, let's get a good idea of the amount of damage that was faced by people from these communities in these clips.
Road to go on Maroon Town, you know? Here do. Roll like road, John. Got a bomb back there.
And we know, for money,
Right now.
It's not even nobody throwing a big square night.
No?
How far on it is it?
Right to the back.
Can you imagine I'm carrying good on this one?
Everybody go down on the footman. And it's going to roll it down. Yo, there's an alloy number there. It's alloy big pipe blank, so we don't know what's going on. Oh, you don't? Alright.
No problem. You know what it is? Well, just a real you can tell
No. What's the name of the community? Content, Kirkvine, Manchester people. So the water is rising from under the earth. It's not like it flood while it look like this. From the day after the storm, water just keep on rising and rising. Up to this morning, they could walk on this part right here so freely. And now, water just rise and cover it up. Water getting in the yard over there, water getting into those people's steps. And these people, even worse, even worse, water almost at window level. Look in their backyard over there, water all the way. They had to evacuate people, they had to move. Water right here, look at the water is coming closer and closer to road level at this point. Look, so imagine you live in a house and after the storm you think everything is good, You just look and you see water rising daily until you get to this level. Water all the way. So if you look right here, you see water. Let me show you the worst house that we're seeing. This is the front yard of a house that normally be a normal front yard that people could walk in or drive, go to their house. Look at this. Water is now above window level. The water is above window level right there. Look in the backyard right there. So people normally just walk or drive, go into their house, go in the veranda right there. But look at this. Water is above the window level. Above the window level, people. The water just rises from nowhere and keep on rising higher and higher. So you see it right here at this level. Maybe tomorrow it reach on the main road based on what we see is happening. So right here in Content Kirk by Manchester, this is what the people are experiencing. So this is the aftermath of Hurricane Melissa, right?
Gone.
Yeah.
No slip up for over them kind of so all long time ago was gone. We did there with the pin there, so we have to hold him.
So
Under the mattress, so we hold on the mattress over our head.
and that was
Not chop off with them.
and that was what time in the day?
Blood clot, that's about after what? After 12 then time. then.
12 p.m.
And we did it. Because they must say wait till the eye pass. You see if we didn't ever stop till the eye pass.
Yeah.
And then we blood clot. Then we have to run out to the stand for the birth.
Yeah.
You see shelter, no door, no window.
All the shelter them fuck up there.
No way not there for nobody.
No way.
If a man get washed up, go see. And yesterday morning we find her. Man in a car, dead. Man, house dropped down upon them dead. And God bless you, we not find it.
Yeah, so it way worse than one thing, people.
And this is the American book, but it's filthy. Books right here, sir, and comb. And right here, sir, where the house was built, the other side, and we used to walk down, go to the bathroom.
To go to the bathroom down here?
Yes.
What happened to the bathroom now? Tree fall on it, no true. Yeah,
Yes.
but even in the ashes,
And this thing
the
was
Holy
mine.
Scriptures, and this
This
is
thing was mine because
still
it's
there,
a charger thing.
still right on. That was
This is-
yours?
Yes.
Yeah, Holy Scriptures,
Take it out.
right here.
Let me tell you, you see when I see this is not like say people live here, people. Regardless of the situation, I don't see how the place look like a hillside, people. People more than 200 houses still upon just a side alone, and we only have one house standing. Literally, if people don't like them and give up, no food to eat, no water. Days now they don't drink no water, people. Please. Days now they don't have no water. It tank when they have water and them blow down. Nothing not there. Everything mash up like literally people don't know what to do. They just stand up and not do nothing. Some of them fear to go on like camera, but me I tell them say all open the last. Me I go carry help for them. Me I go get help for them. Me I beg you no. Daytime can me fly one helicopter down here. Come give the people them some water. If Dayton, Mark Golin, Andrew Holness, me I beg you no. Left all Beast and Spring. See one lady here?
Mr. Dayton Campbell, you know me did have all your number, me can't call you nor nothing. We there and we vote for you in a left all. We don't have no water. Baby there want pampas, no water, no food. Please me I beg you, see if you can land one helicopter and come help we. We coming like a walking dead. We only know so we not dead.
Jesus.
But we physically, in a spirit, we dead. Please, we are begging you come help we. We don't have nowhere to turn. Nowhere else to turn. Only a helicopter can help we with
Cause no road down, no road, they can't reach, you have to walk.
Black. See me house them, me son just make it tear down. Me window then lick out. Thank God me living now, cause if something did want to take me through window, me and my family. You know see it? Took me daughter, me son, the two of them homeless. Homeless. Them have to left Ghana White House because they can't get no help here. Please.
And I walk them have to walk to
Please,
White House.
Mr. Dayton Campbell. Please,
Judge,
me I beg you. See
Tears.
what you can do for we. Please, sir. All right.
So you've seen for yourself, the devastation was intense in that red zone that you saw on the map. And it is important that you realize that you see that entire red zone, those people are all in significant need, okay? So while I can understand that right now there's all this talk about St. Elizabeth, all this talk about Black River, all of that area is more or less like what we've seen in the images. And I try to get videos from different parts, including Montego Bay. So, people, I'm tired for cry. I'm tired for cry. And crying too much is not going to help. What's important right now is how do we recover from this? Let me tell you something when we know that is currently happening in the island. In these areas, there is a huge increase in crime. People are looting, stealing. They're stealing pieces of wood to try and build their houses back quickly. The homelessness, the destitution, the hunger is driving people into survival mode, which means the fittest of the fittest shall survive. And in that scenario, we have got people preying on the weak and the vulnerable. As crime rises and people begin to feel more and more paranoid about whether or not help is actually coming, we are going to end up with a terrible situation in our island, because human beings can only be pushed that far without their basic needs before they become aggressive to the point of they will take lives. In order to live, in their minds, anybody can die. I want you to listen to this clip about the fact that we now have corpses unattended throughout certain areas. And I need you to pay attention to the fact that there are still people living around these corpses that have yet to have been accessed by any of the underground help that has been sent out by the government of Jamaica. Take a listen to this clip.
Several dead bodies are in Westmoreland that need to be removed, and they're now starting to rot and smell up the place, and the people don't have no light, no water, no nothing. Repost this video so they can get some help. They said that there are several dead bodies over the course of 1 to 3 days, and they need help removing these bodies before it starts to get worse. Remember, you know, not having any water, and then flies, and you know, when the bodies start decompose, that's a whole other story, guys. We don't know who gonna help them or who can help them, but just repost this video.
Westmoreland, we have a lot of dead bodies here that needs to be removed. Some of them are from 2 days, 3 days, and 1 day. We need them to be removed. However, we heard that the road is clear from Montego Bay coming up. So if you know what we meet resident, them meet you know with the dead body them at the part where they can't reach, we are gonna meet you know. And the police van meet up to one they can't stop. But at this point, the dead body them need to move. Remember, we don't have water and fly, and this thing now go work. So we need help in Westmoreland. Too much dead bodies here that needs to be removed.
People are saying that the areas are starting to smell like death. Now remember, you know, we have a combination of things going on. We have a lot of water flooding. Water that keeps rising. We have got people who are deceased under rubble, in houses, in the water. As the water continues to rise, what kind of scenario do you think is next? If these bodies are not taken away and handled safely out of the communities, they are going to infect the waters. And if disease goes into the water, we have got a bigger problem on our hands in terms of communities being affected. We're talking about the potential of cholera. We're talking about the potential of tuberculosis. We're talking about diseases that are also delivered on contact. I could list them. But now, remember, there's a time frame for some of these illnesses to be rampant. But the deceased bodies continue to pose a risk of cholera because it's about feces leaving the body. And once that gets into the water, and that water goes into the supply of whatever it is that they may be drinking, that risk is amplified. The way I'm hearing things, it sounds almost like an apocalypse. And yet still, so many days on, these communities have not had any help. Now, one of the problems that I have noticed is that the government is calling on volunteers, volunteer nurses, volunteer people to clean up, volunteer people to help, get things on the ground in terms of handing out food and stuff like that. And that is wonderful. But you know what I think would be a very effective, particularly in these hard to reach communities that is unfamiliar terrain for many people, is that you make a national call for anybody who wants to actually work by taking some of that funding and paying people on the ground to actually find people, identify who is sick, bring in anybody who is extremely vulnerable, point out where the dead bodies are, all of those things, by getting people who know areas to work with you and you pay them, you would get a lot more hands on deck, because the people where in these communities are the best experts. All of this can happen in these central camps, coordinating these kind of teams and leading them by your national security officials, by having them guided by your army members, your police. You end up with an even wider team, but there are people who are reimbursed. It's going to inspire them to work even harder to help to get the country back in order. Imagine them at work, them don't know where them next brother come from, volunteering, yes, but it needs a more robust approach so that you get hands on deck and people who are willing, because a lot of them young people, them not do nothing for free. And them I think so them have to go put roof back over them head. This is a way for them to work to build them house back. You understand? So that's one thing that I think would be very valuable and very effective, because you'd have a lot more of the locals coming forward to be a part of that team. All them I think is that them are left them people or them are left them family for come volunteer. Them not go do it. If them know so them a come, them a go eat a food and them a go earn from it. It becomes a task that is rewarding. Something that they can then put aside to build their lives back in the future. So some of that funding should go to recruiting people as on-the-ground specialists in their area to help tidy up, to help find lost people, missing people, to help identify where dead bodies are, so that the medical experts can go and handle those bodies in the appropriate sanitary way. You also have to think about how to handle those who have passed as a result of the storm. You need teams in these areas to document those who have passed away. Their pictures need to be taken because they are family to somebody. And there are family members who are desperately wanting to know what has happened. Usually in any kind of disaster, this is one of the things that first world countries do very, very fast. Get out pictures of people who have died. It is so important that these things get done faster than they are. And I know there is a lot of work to be done. But if you are not making use of the manpower that is already present in the country, and you're just relying on your officials to go into these communities to do things, then of course all the resources have to be concentrated in one spot before you move on to the next. Because nobody is being deployed to lead teams of people who are well versed, well informed about the areas. So far I have made 2 suggestions. The first suggestion being that you need central camps so that people who are in hard to reach communities can actually converge under one space so that they can get help in a centralized way. That way, once they disperse, you are documenting where they're going to, who else in those areas might need help. It's a good way for you to get information and then be able to send out the relevant resources and teams in order to get them to come to that camp, led by the National Defense Services. I also said, pay people on the ground to do work in the communities so that they are getting financially compensated for cleaning up the environment. And I know people are going to say, but why them have to pay? And that's how they live, them to make it turn good and ray. Yes, that is true. But really and truly, in a case of a natural disaster, the government is the one who is responsible for these things. So people doing it are because they're wonderful citizens and they love their place where they live. And them love them country. So compensate them so that they are working to earn. And this money can go towards them rebuilding their lives. And from these camps, another thing that can come out of this is documenting the list of everybody that's alive, who may have family members who are trying to reach them and they're unable to make contact. Publishing this list on a national or rather international database means that people who are abroad can search that list for the names of their family members and identify that they are safe even if they are unable to reach them in the immediate sense. Now, that's a bit of clerical task, I know, but this is why things need to be centralized. And I'm not just talking about centralizing in terms of giving people food, drink, and medical care, but also in terms of handing out the supplies. You have got lots of people on the ground who are volunteering, who are coming in a private convoy to drop things off here, there, and everywhere, who are currently, some of whom are saying that they've been robbed, they're unable to get into communities, they're struggling to travel in, and so on. A good thing to do is to be able to identify these bases and know that these bases will feed the communities, list them, put that also on a website, so that if it is that you want to donate to particular communities, because people want to donate to people that they know, people who are family members, as well as general areas. So then they know, okay, you need to go to this point if you wish to donate to this camp. Go to that point if you wish to donate to this camp, and so on and so forth. Most of the people who are coming to help are coming from the areas that are the least affected. So then coordinate your contributions and donations so that they then get distributed to these camps and they are equally spread. It isn't difficult once you are acting in a systematic way. It needs a unified approach to the distribution of resources, but also making sure that you have got zoned areas where there are camps and these donations can be centralized to these camps. So by doing that, it means that everything is distributed within a certain how many miles radius. And you know that your family or your friends, if you're donating specifically to, say, Bethel Town, you know, say, I go to Camp C, Bethel Town is a part of Camp C, them I go get it. You may not be able to hand it specifically over, but those things will make it easier and safer, even for these private people who are trying to get in to give. Everybody running in, everybody doing this. Some people are getting more than some, and so on and so forth. The government needs to take a handle of how things are being done so that it is done in a clear way and that the citizens have a route way, a light at the end of the tunnel. They're hearing radio silence, and that is going to add to the desperation in the country. Make your plans transparent is what I would have to say to the government officials. And I don't care which government officials, JLP or PNP. Because it includes the members of the opposition, it includes all the MPs and so on and so forth, regardless of which party they are from. by coming together, unifying, and coming up with a systematic approach, you are able to streamline the donations, particularly to hard to reach areas. You're also making it clear to citizens where they can go to get help. Setting up these temporary camps are key. They are vital to give people a lifeline and hope in order to survive. Like I said, this is not going to be a long video, but these are the things that have been pressing on my heart and on my mind, because I'm seeing things happen in a way that, as much as, you know, whatever the government's doing in those particular areas is wonderful, the cries of help and the desperation that's coming from the areas that are not getting food, not getting water, that are still in situations where their health and their lives are at risk, is tormenting my conscience. I don't know about Uno, but it's a torment mine. And it takes some really strategic thinking to get things done in a way that will settle the minds and reassure the citizens that they have not been forgotten or neglected. And I know you are coming, government of Jamaica, I know you're coming. But for some, too late will be your cry. Get something done quickly to respond.
We're not asking because we are greedy. We're asking because the collaboration and the coordination on the ground is not reaching our people in South St. James. When I'm able to bring 2 bags of food like I did last night to the school at Malden High, they were not able to make breakfast this morning because it could only last 1 day. I'm asking you to help us to airlift some food into the communities, to get the sick people out of the homes and into the hospital. We have some pregnant mothers. We were able to get to the hospital at Cornwall Regional just yesterday. Her baby was not moving anymore in her belly, right? We have an urgent need in South St. James, and I know everybody is trying. All I'm asking is don't forget South St. James in all of this, because we are proud farmers and we want to get back with our lives, but we need the donations to come to us too. We don't want to stay left behind because we're deep rural.
Now I'm hearing that Mark Golding was denied a helicopter to go into deep rural Westmoreland. I do not know if this is an official statement by Mark Golding, and I really and truly hope that this is not true. As the opposition leader, he should be entitled to go into these areas to assess what's going on there, and anywhere else he wishes to assist with. And I don't see any reason why the Prime Minister would deny that request, other than, listen, political issues. I can't get it. And I'm not going to say too much on that because I have not seen anything official. But when I listened to this MP and her cries for help for her deep rural community, it touched my heart. And it is clear that the problem that the people are seeing on the ground is not a false one. It's not a fake or made up one. People have been arguing, saying it's not true. People are doing everything they can. But then why is this MP crying out that there are people who are suffering without resources? It should not be a case of PNP versus JLP or JLP versus PNP at a time like this. All political affiliation should be stripped away, and it's more about the immediate needs of the people. Those things need to be met. I'm hoping that my suggestions make sense to somebody who is in power, and that people who are, responsible for how things are allocated truly think things through. Because right now, all I'm seeing is a huge danger ahead. When citizens lose faith and lose hope, it is the worst that they will react. And you do not want this kind of uprising from the Jamaican people before you respond to their cries. I am hoping that Andrew Holness has got a more strategic and well laid out plan. And even though it feels as though things are just being done, I'm hoping that he has got this systematic route way through to get through to these communities who are crying out. And that maybe we are being premature, but when it comes to the cost of a life, to me, there's no such thing as prematurity. It's immediate, that need. Because we cannot afford to have that mortality rate keep climbing. And it's purely because somebody didn't get water. Somebody never get them diabetes medicine. Somebody never get dialysis. Somebody never get access to a hospital. Somebody never eat food. Somebody get hurt because they're in debris. These things, we need to minimize them as much as possible. And the only way to do it is to think very carefully about how you get access to these communities. Make use of the land space, because we have got pockets of large areas of land in almost every region where you can land helicopters. When I saw this particular video that I'm about to play now, I was flabbergasted, but take a look.
Plane landed. We were helpful. It was food and water. They came to pick up their troops, who were doing search and rescue.
So these are the kind of wasted resources we don't want to see. Helicopters should not be landing in areas without food. They should not be going there just to pick up people who are underground doing work. The moment these things lift, they should be lifting with supplies to meet the needs of those community members. That to me was a waste of resource, a waste of money. Because those helicopters, the people were running out thinking, oh God, them are come with food, them are come with drinks, them are come with sitting food to eat, which is the immediate needs. And they came empty-handed to collect their own. Pay attention to things like this, Andrew Holness, please, sir. Because right now, we're all worried. We're all worried about our island. And we who are in the diaspora looking on, we're doing as much as we can. Coordinating donations, getting things to different drop-off points to send to our people in Jamaica. But we want to know that the resources are going to be handled well. And that we're not going to be hearing of people languishing in squalor and destitution because they can't get access to the things that we're sending. Anyway, people, if you've made it this far into the video, don't forget to hit the like, share, and subscribe button. And do let me know your thoughts. I really want to know what you guys think about my ideas. And if you have other suggestions as well that would make this process easier for people to get the things that they need. This is your girl, Head Teacher K, and I'm out.